Cleveland police have done something really nice, Lewis. They've agreed to stop hitting people on the head with their guns. The Justice Department found a 21-month investigation that began in 2013 that Cleveland police routinely bash people on the head with their guns, sometimes accidentally firing their guns as a result, according to a 58-page report that was released. So as a result of this report, Cleveland police are making some changes. The police are going to stop hitting people on the head with their guns, and they will document any time that their guns are unholstered, according to a new consent decree between the U.S. Justice Department and Cleveland police that was released yesterday. This is the result of 5 months of negotiations, dozens of meetings with community groups. They are now saying that police will expressly provide that policy expressly provides that using a firearm as an impact weapon is never an authorized tactic. The agreement prohibits officers from displaying their firearms unless they believe lethal force to be necessary. This is a very good thing. And as it turns out, Sam Walker, who's a retired criminology professor, this is already standard police tactics in many, many departments. He said, quote, "Many of the things here are long-standing policies in good departments, like hitting people with their guns like a baton. The good departments banned that decades ago." The Cleveland police reports even included, Lewis, a box that could be checked. If you hit someone in the head with your gun, there's a specific box to check for that. Apparently, it's such a routine thing that they say, instead of having to write that out in words, just check this box if you bashed someone over the head with your gun.
Well, as we saw with Eric Garner in New York, just because something is banned doesn't mean that police officers aren't going to do it. Of course, in that case, an officer used a banned technique, which ended up killing a man and somehow got away with it. So I still predict that there might be some pistol whipping going on in Cleveland.
I actually like that they also discuss how you shouldn't have your gun out unless it's necessary, because that can escalate the situation. And not only that, it can also create a pretext for, hey, he reached for my gun, so I shot him. Did he really reach for your gun? What are the circumstances? If your gun is holstered, unless you really need it, that may make it much clearer, or at least prevent as many of these situations of, oh, he reached for my gun. So I think that's also a really important thing to have in here.
I think it makes perfect sense. Why was it not in there before? I hope it makes a difference.
I also want to make clear that police are legitimately more afraid right now in modern 2015 US because there are so many guns out there, right? So to some extent, we have to understand why police might be so scared, aside from the obvious disparities with regard to race and class and all of those elements we've discussed. Let's realize that if you were a police officer and you knew how many guns were out there, I'd certainly be quite weary of others.
I would too, but we can't allow police to assume that there's a gun and to shoot someone because of that. It needs to be incontrovertible that there was a gun involved.